Thanks for putting up with that. I appreciate it. I want to start off by saying thanks to Scott Beres for filling in for me Monday. Really wasn't in the mood to pull off a stream. Here, listen to the song, Scott. That's where I am. So I wanted to thank Scott for filling in for me. Ever since last week, I came up with this idea that I wanted to do a live stream on 9/11. Just pass on my reflections on it. So it really took me out of the mood to do my regular live on Monday. I'll go back to that though. This is going to be a little bit different kind of a stream, guys. I want to give reflections on, that day 18 years ago. With all that went down that day. So I'm definitely going to be slow on the reading of the comments, but keep commenting, talking to each other if you have questions. But I don't know, I really wanted to just talk about 9/11. So, growing up, I always heard from my parents how the 2 days that they always remember, where they were and, what happened, and everybody from that generation, could tell you exactly where they were on those days. And those days for my parents, that was the assassination of John Kennedy and the lunar landing on the moon. Those were, 2 days that a lot of people from that generation could tell you down to the second where they were, what they were doing. And for me, that became 9/11. So I wanted to talk about that. So that day, 18 years ago, 9/11, I was still doing what I'm doing now. I was actually driving to the bank. We had an appointment, me and the manager of the branch had an appointment to go see a big client at 9 o'clock. So, I had left the house at, around 8 o'clock. And, as I'm driving to the branch, I'm listening to Howard Stern. For those of you that don't know who he is, he's, a funny morning guy here in the States. He's very big, popular. So I'm listening to him and I'm driving, and he said something about a plane crashing into one of the trade centers. Now, he's known, for jokes and being funny and all of that. So when he said it, I didn't know if he was actually being serious about it or not, at the time. And I just continued to drive, to the branch, and I remember exactly where I was. Flatbush Avenue, drive down, and I was getting to Flatbush and Church Avenue, which was where the bank is, and I saw the second building actually hit the building at that time. And when this is all going down, you don't know what's happening, so I parked, I went into the branch, and I looked at the manager. I'm like, what do we do? And we decided, we're not doing anything. This is crazy. And, so we just called off that. And then, headed home, basically. But I saw that building, and then, a lot of the stuff I was watching on the news, live as it happened. And I was getting a lot of phone calls from bosses and everything, checking to make sure that, we were okay, and all I'll get into more of that, but see the Twin Towers, I always used to be able to see the Twin Towers from my house. Not this house that I'm in now, but the one I was in growing up. You could see it right from our front window. Two twins, just there. I had been to there many times. Went up to the observation deck, and I think I even had dinner there once. They had a restaurant on one of the top floors in one of the buildings. I don't remember. I think it was called Windows of the World. And you just like overlooking the entire New York City, eating. And I always saw those towers. And on the news, they had people, they were showing people jumping, and you can hear the thuds. At first we didn't know. We thought maybe the buildings could withstand it. Because what a lot of you may not know is that terrorists had tried to take down the Twin Towers earlier. I think it was in the 90s. I was working on Wall Street in the 90s. I mean, half a mile away. And what they did was I think they loaded up vans or trucks with explosives. And and I was on, like I said, Wall Street, and these, all of a sudden, back then, in the 90s, when that happened, it felt like a friggin' earthquake. I thought I was in an earthquake. In downtown Manhattan by Wall Street. And it turned out that, they had tried to blow up the buildings with the truck bombs. And they failed. I mean, they still killed some people then too and caused a lot of damage, but they were able to save the buildings. I think the buildings opened up again like a month later or 2 months later. I don't remember the exact time. But that kind of like gave us like an air of invincibility. Like we could withstand anything that these cocksuckers would throw at us. And then a few years later, they did the planes, and it didn't make it. Take a look at some comments. I'm sorry guys, I know I'm kind of not reading too much. Always says he was on the way to a job and heard it on Howard Stern. Yeah, that's how I heard it. Scott says he was called to work to secure the explosives. And double dog. I could cry for this day. I really could. I'm already choked up. So, obviously, the people were dying. Oof. Sorry, guys. Yeah. I knew this would be hard to get through. Just bear with me. So, that happened. They came down. So, pretty much everything stopped for a week. There was no work, and so, about a week, and thank God we had Mayor Giuliani, because he was, whether you agree with his politics or not, he was the best one to have at that time. So after a week, told everybody to get back to work. Hi, Emily. So after a week, Giuliani ordered everyone back to work. And it's weird, right? Because I'm a salesperson. And usually when you go into a business, they don't want to hear from you. So I was going into businesses, and they were welcoming me. Thanking me for coming in. Because they wanted to get back to normal. Which I think we all did. And then, the cleanup started. And, you had all the firefighters, policemen, volunteers. I volunteered for a day. I carried water. No big deal. But there was a stench of death in the air for a couple of months. And it was unmistakable death. I don't know how to describe it but when you smell it, you know it. We had Chinese vendors selling pictures of the World Trade Center on fire until they finally closed those assholes off trying to make a buck. And it was terrible. And every time this year, I get sick. Hi, Shooting Star. Oh, this is tough. This is very, very tough. Hey, Kevin, welcome. So, and for me, it really was a life changer. Because I thought about it. Here are just these people, innocent people, going to work. ever coming home. So, 3,000 people dead. And you know, we're still losing people because all that air that they brought in, a lot of people are still dying. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, but I'm welling up. Who am I kidding? I'm freaking crying. Ugh. I'll tell you, I really didn't feel like the country really gave a shit about New York either. At least that was my feeling. I know a lot of people sent people and rescue teams and everything, but I really didn't feel like the rest of the country really gave a shit about us. Oh boy. This is a very different show for me, guys. I hope you can put up with it. I always try to do a happy, funny show, but man, today just brings up bad memories. You know, and the preceding weeks and months after, they're still cleaning up the buildings and the dead bodies. You know, it was hard, and I'll tell you, I lived in New York my whole life. That, like, I would say first 2 months after, how do I say, I never seen New York so friendly. All of a sudden, people weren't cutting each other off on the streets. They were letting other people go. Young people were helping old people cross the streets. It was amazing. It was nothing racial. Like anything with racial tension went out the window, except everybody, of course, was looking at Muslims. All of a sudden, black people, white people, Latino people, none of us had a quarrel with each other. That was all fine. You know, and during it, there were stories that, you know, like this neighborhood in New Jersey, Paterson, New Jersey, you know, there's a large Muslim population, supposedly, like, they were cheering in the streets. We're hearing all kinds of crazy shit those first few days. But for me, it really did change my life. This day, 18 years ago. Because I realized that, you know, you could be doing everything right, working hard, and you just get killed. And from that time on, that's why I put such an emphasis on retiring early. That's why I want this to be my last year of work. Any one of us can be snuffed out at any friggin' second. And I know also, by the way, that New York is definitely going to be a friggin' target again. It's not like that shit's over. It will happen again. Without a doubt. Not a single doubt in my mind. I don't know when, but I know it will. You know. And like I said, I didn't feel the love of other states when it happened. Maybe it was there. I don't know. I know there was a lot of. That's another thing that pissed me off. You know, we go to war with Afghanistan and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, 18 of those people were Saudi Arabians. Yes, Scott, that's actually the phone I'm streaming from. Gigi, you have to learn to put it in the box. At least that is what they told me, but they were wrong. They made me lose all feelings, so I let it out and felt better. Emily asked, where was I? I was downtown Brooklyn, Emily. I saw the second plane go into the building. Scott, I'll talk to you I'll if you're free, I'll call you after the stream. Now, this is kind of like my therapy. That's why I couldn't do a Monday, because all I was thinking about was this. And I knew it would be hard, but man, it's even harder than I anticipated. You know, so, no, like I said, that changed me. That's why I want to retire early. I know New York is a target. And just, listen, mortal. When I die, whenever that is, I want it to be, because I would think that you have that second where you can see if you were content with your life to that point. I mean, think about, like, those people in that building. Their choice was being burned alive or jumping out the window. That's not a choice I ever want. Although if I had to make it, I'd probably jump, because the burning seems even worse than the splat. But, like I said, I don't want to have to be in that situation or make that choice. That's why I've stayed in Brooklyn working. I've been asked so many times to go give coverage in Manhattan and, work in the city and all of that stuff. And that's why I don't want it. Because, they might go after something like the Brooklyn Bridge or something, but Manhattan would be the target when they target us again, for sure. Scott says, don't go morbid. You still have a better chance of getting mugged than killed. No, I understand that, but, I go through this every year, Scott. I always get very emotional around 9/11. I really do. Like I said, it's made an impact on my life. I miss seeing those towers too, man. I did a video today that I can't get uploaded for some friggin' reason with YouTube. It keeps saying queued. And what I did was, I had the stupid meeting from Insensitive Company today. Make a meeting on 9/11 in Midtown Manhattan. So, I used my navigation, and they took me like through Queens and the Midtown Tunnel going in, because that whole area down there, it was closed off. They read the names. And but coming back, I use a navigation thing called Waze. I love it. But so it took me right past the Freedom Tower, and I made a video of it, and I can't get it uploaded. But as lovely as a building as the Freedom Tower, which I'm not really crazy about that name either, it shouldn't be there. The Freedom Tower should not be there. Those two monsters should be there. They really should. I know, guys, this is a heavy topic, and I appreciate you putting up with it. I promise Monday to go back to, more, well, trying to be funny or fun-loving. Today, I just wanted to vent about 9/11 some. It's hard, man. It really is. Well, first when we got back to work, everybody was thankful to see salespeople again. There was no racial tension in the city. The city was the most courteous I've ever seen. Suddenly everyone wasn't in as big as rush as they were, like, for instance, today. So that was my 9/11 experience. I mean, I'm trying to take Scott's advice and not get too morbid, but, when you think about a building on fire and firefighters and cops running up a building, respect to them. What bravery. So, and I feel like as each year goes by, there's like less and less of it. I mean, they do the reading of the names and stuff like that, but I don't know. Like a few years ago, my friend from California came in, and he wanted to go see the memorial. I'm like, all right, let's go. So, we go there, and he's like, wow, this is really sad. I'm like, 3,000 people died here. Did you think it was going to be a party? It's a memorial to a terrible thing. Well, there's a lot of people who aren't even born. Now people who were born that year are like, 18 years old. They don't know anything about it. And, some of the older folks maybe passed. So there's just like, a couple of generations who remember. And it has to be shared. And like today, like I said a minute ago, the stupid company, they dragged us into this meeting at 10:30 a.m. to 12, hour and a half. And when they do that, they don't understand. It takes 2 hours to get there and 2 hours to get back. So add that up. 2, 4, 5.5 hours. The day's over, basically. So they wasted the whole day. Excuse me. They wasted the whole day. No work was done. They didn't tell us anything. And then after the meeting, I get home, I'm working, because, I can work remotely. And they have a conference call to announce a change. And it was the same people who were in the meeting. So, like, they didn't even tell us information that they knew. It was just like, a dark here in New York. I have a spinning wheel. Hi, Mariska. Shooting Star says, JG, you need to let it out, man. Mariska Colin. Yeah, Mariska, I'm just giving how I experienced it being here. It's a tough topic to talk about. Goes my tenant. Boy, we always have a good time. JG is a vet and ex-firefighter. I can tell you that I never did it looking for praise. And I still don't like when people say thanks for me for doing my job. I will die for you. That's my choice. I get it. Respect, Scott. Well, I've always respected firefighters and cops. My father was a correction officer. And I lived right down the block growing up from the fire department, who they had a basketball court and a handball court in the back of the firehouse, and they would always let the local kids come in and play. And they, sometimes when I was a little boy, I got to ride in the fire truck. Actually, the fireman was the only civil service job that actually had interest me. I didn't want to be a cop per se. Well, my father made sure I didn't want to become a cop. The ironic thing about it, though, is if I would have, went into civil service, I would be, probably retired with full pension by now. Well, what are you gonna do? I'm doing it a different way. It feels not even like 18 years. No, Mariska, it doesn't. To me, it feels so much less. It just feels like a few years ago to me. And I feel the further away we get, the less people remember. It's a tough thing, man. I'm at a loss for words to describe it. I mean, what can you say? Horrific, terrible, all of those adjectives. It's all of those and more. Well, it's especially worse because it was done upon us. Done upon innocent people. Nobody was asking for it. Nobody knew it was coming. And there's like 50 million different conspiracies about it and all of that. I don't care about none of that. I don't want to hear or talk about any kind of conspiracies and all of that shit. All I know is that 3,000 people are dead, the buildings are down. So that's like I said, life altering. Gave me new purpose. Because I think before that, yeah, this is actually true. Before 9/11, I was actually, what was I? I was living large, let's say. Had the fancy car, the fancy watch. I also had the credit card bills that go along with it. And after that, I said, well, how am I going to retire early? Because I want to enjoy my life. So I got myself out of all of that debt, and I've been saving pretty much ever since. I want to retire by next year. People say, oh, you're 50, you'll be bored. I'm not worried about being bored. I'll find something. Even if it's just traveling Southeast Asia, visiting every Philippine island, whatever. I'll find something. And if I find something that's, money making, that's fine, but I want to have my financial self taken care of, not having to worry about that when I go there. Alright, let's read some comments, guys. I've been babbling. Scott says the Army, I was in 18C, as a firefighter, I ran into houses to save your cat. Scott likes to help others. Proof of that was he filled in for me Monday. See, Scott's always helping people. Mariska says, I don't care about the conspiracy theories either. Nah, me neither. Hi, Doreens. I'm sorry if I miss saying hi to everyone. Being bored is a luxury. Yeah, it really is. That's why I'm not worried about it. Yeah, I would love to have the problem of being bored and having to fill up my days. I'm sure I could figure out something. It's not really a concern. Scott says, JG, I'll make a house for you and we can ride around making laughs. No cost. Yeah. There's a lot of clay there to work with. Ah, good. I'm glad. We could change up the subject a little. What's going on in your guys' minds tonight? That's why I couldn't go live Monday. I had to get that out. This is like cleansing. This is like you guys are my priest and I'm doing a confession. It does feel good to get it out though. I was actually teary before. Not teary, I was freaking crying, I'll be honest about it. But like you guys are saying, you gotta get it out. I really, every year, around that time, get this way. You know, I'd rather it never happened and you know, and not experienced it, but it is what it is. See, we have some new folks. Hi, Hapsters. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the peek. Appreciate it. Ken Unger. Oh, thanks for listening to it, Ken. Thanks for joining. Dembe, the Life Explorer. Hello. Welcome to JGBK program. Usually, guys, if you're new, usually it's a much happy-or-go-lucky kind of stream. I do those Mondays. If you're in the States, 8:30 to 10. If you're in the Philippines, it's Tuesday morning, 8:30 to 10 on Mondays. That's my normal. It's usually different than this. I try to think of wacky topics and have funny banter about it. You know, today it's in the corporate speak. It's a one-off. I don't have intentions of doing these kind of streams. Actually, I've only been on 43 minutes. I feel friggin' drained. Like a cell phone that's battery's at 20%. That's how I feel now just from that. Oh, and an update on that is that I bought a new charger for my phone, and I just checked, and 43 minutes in, and I have 100% power. As I just got says, JG, don't say confession. If I go, I will need to set aside a week. Yeah. Hey, Jeb Jam, welcome to the program. Yeah, so that's what we were talking about today. Hi, MK. Oh, we got MK, Shooting Star, and Emily. The Trinity. Yeah, what is an 18C? So, yeah, I'm actually starting to feel better now. Thank goodness. I can get on with life again. But I think it's okay to reflect on it. You know, it's one day a year. So, geez, now I have to think of other topics. I didn't think I would get through that quickly, but that's all right. I don't want to be, you know, there's so many grouches and upset people on here. I want to focus. So, ask the neighbor to turn on the Christmas lights, Jeb Jim says. Yeah, I got that neighbor across the street, right? Yeah, right. I guess it's a bird month, but as you know, Jeb, that's not the same here in the States. I was talking in a chat to a few Filipino folk, and they were asking if if the holiday sales start. I'm like, holiday sales don't start until after Thanksgiving, which of course, you know, they don't know by Thanksgiving unless they know an expat that told them. You know, we have the Thanksgiving at the end of November, and the day after Thanksgiving is Black Friday, where everybody goes out and maxes out their credit cards and pays it off for the next year, like a good American. have to be in debt. So, yeah, so I'm excited about my upcoming trip. Right now I only have the, well actually all I have is the, all I have is the airline ticket booked. I didn't book a hotel in Manila yet. I don't know, because I don't want to spend that many days there. Since I've been there, it's a big city, and pretty much like when I was in Makati last year, all it reminded me was of New York. And I'm trying to, get away from that. I had a lot of people telling me that Cebu was like becoming like Manila, big overgrown city. I don't know, but that's going to be one of the stops, and Davao will be one of the stops. Demby the Life Explorer, how are you? Scott Barry is shopping for pants this weekend. You need cast iron pans, Ems, for Scott's head. That's what happens when you hit cement. Maybe these. Yes, of course you may. Everyone's welcome here, maybe. Provided you're not a troll, but you came and said hello nice. Chat with the guys. Yeah, guys, I haven't mentioned it, but a lot of the people in the chat have channels. Chitaurus, Emily, Scott, Jeb Jim, MK Show. They're all loyal people. They all get back to you. Feel free to make a new. Jeb Jim says, when we fly into Philippines, we always spend the night in Manila and fly to our destination the following morning. Yeah, it's kind of like when I was thinking about Jeb, but I really do want to make it over to Tondo for a beer with Tropical Tim. Did someone say beer? Hey, let's see. Will Tropical Tim show up? Beer has been mentioned. Hi, Mitch. 11 event in Mitch talking about 9/11. It was. My God, Tropical Tim. You are too hilarious, Tim. You really are freaking hilarious. If anyone has I caught a bunch of. I didn't catch all the videos that I wanted to today, but I was able to watch Tropical Tim's video with Pandesal. That was a funny video. You got to make it to the end of Tim's videos, though. I saw Chitaurus' video with the Portofino in Italy. I saw Emily's potato pancake, which was really mashed potatoes and not really a potato pancake. Potato pancakes made a little bit different, but that looked yummy also. You just say beer and Tropical Tim. Let me check. Yeah, it's showing I have a decent signal. Alright. Wow, this charger I bought is really good. Phone says 100%. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe my I thought maybe the phone wasn't taking. Scott says, Tim, I am 6 beers in already. You are behind. Why? How many beers are you in, Tropical Tim? Well, for Tropical Tim, it's not even 8 o'clock in the morning. So I hope he's not too many in. But as you'll see in his video, time means nothing when it comes to San Miguel. Yeah, so I'm excited for the Philippine trip. It should be lovely. Tim, I'm going to come see you, man. You better be available. You're going to be in Tondo in November? Or are you going to your other location? It was funny. I had left the comment on actually one of Tropical Tim's videos not today's video, although I did leave a comment on today's video, but I think his last one, I told him I had a dream that I went to Tondo and that I got there and I wanted to buy him a beer, but he told me he didn't actually drink. It was just an act. Could you imagine? Jim says, JGBK, it really works. I already did she and watched later. Shout out to all my friends here. As for the rest of you, get in line.
Tropical Tim in the Philippines here.
Mitch Bromwell. Let's see. MK says, JG, I watched some untold story about 9/11 while I was crying. I feels the panic of the people and screaming. Yeah, it was freaking horrible. If you're interested in a horrible live stream, just listen to the beginning of this stream. I'm glad if given the choice. So wow, guys, you can see how dark it is already. It's not even 8 o'clock in New York, and it's pretty dark. I would say it's nighttime. Let's see. Emily says, my family began starving when I started to make cooking videos. They had to wait. Note, screenshot, Tim is going to be available anytime from now on. Scott says, Tim, give us the wife's number so we can check when you're really available. Mariska says, yes, I'm at the East Coast too. We went fast in like, poof, half an hour. Oh, you're on the East Coast? I didn't know that. Where are you, Mariska? So, you know, I'm kind of glad that segment is over. You know, unless you guys have questions about it. Yeah, and it was really creepy driving past that today. Hey, since I have a bunch of YouTubers on my stream, let me ask you guys a question. I have a video that I'm trying to upload. It says 0% processing. I've tried doing many things to it. I tried, restarting it. I even, YouTube searched, what do you do to get the video going? Somebody was telling me, one of the videos to go into the Studio Classic, go into manage videos, and that usually gets it going. But since it's at 0%, it's not even in there. So none of the things that it says to do worked. So does anyone have a solution for that? If it says, I'll read exactly what it says. It says, upload status 0% processing. This has taken longer than expected. Your video has been queued and will be processed as soon as possible. This has been going for hours. For many, many hours. Mariska says, no, it's a glitch today. Oh, really? Because I had an idea with this particular video. Now it's going to be, well, I can still show it, but it was a video of me driving past the Freedom Tower today. And I was going to do, like a premiere of the video. It was a 5-minute video. I was going to do a 5-minute premiere and then come onto the stream. And couldn't get it uploaded. So if I could ever get it uploaded, I might just do it, release it then. But what a shame. Boy, that light camera keeps going. Jim says, Tropical Tim Rule Book, and it says you should pour MIG on it to get it going. That sounds like a good idea, Jim Jam. Why didn't I think of that? Tim, why didn't you tell me that? Just pour some San Miguel on it. That'll get the video going. Yes, you really should go live chat. You are on. Yes, you should go live chat. You are on top chat. No, YouTube is having issues today, Scott says. JJ, it's because you're using Philippines internet. No, I'm not. I'm not using it yet. I'm using good old American internet. Yeah, well, listen, internet can go down anywhere, but yeah, Philippines seems to have issues. You know, meeting today, you know, they were going over, again, the same thing. You know, you can go and work for one company or the other company or no company, but there might be a severance package. And I'm just thinking in the back of my head, oh, God, give me a severance. They gave me 2 weeks for every year. That's usually how severance works. That would, and I've been there 20 years. That would be 40 weeks pay up front. Give me that. I'm out of here. Says Tom from Tom and Ruth. Yeah, oh, that's didn't work. I did a premiere once, it actually worked. This video, I just can't get it uploaded. What a shame. I actually shot my phone down, and when I turned it back on, it was processed. Yeah, I was actually doing this from my Chromebook. I didn't even think to try to do it from my phone. Well, I'm using the phone right now, so I couldn't do it anyway, but maybe I'll give that a try after. Tim, I told him not to pick up Philippines VPN, but he didn't listen. No, I'm a bad listener. No, Scott, I think your keyboard is getting blurry because of you. I don't think it has anything to do with my streaming. So let's see, what else? Oh, I had mentioned in, I think it was Tom and Roots, I was by my sister's house on Sunday. Yeah, and there's this, I call him a kid. I mean, he must be like, I don't know, 27, 26. And he wants to buy my sister and brother-in-law's house. But he's, you know, he's offering like 1.3 million for the house, and my brother-in-law needs to think about it. They live in Long Island. There's some really pricey neighborhoods there. Well, I mean, there's some really pricey neighborhoods here in Brooklyn too. I mean, here, I mean, depending on what neighborhood you go in, you can buy an apartment for a couple $1 million. An apartment, not even a house. Tim says he's got the inside track on the Pandasal. Yeah, Tim, the Pandasal looked good, but I left in your comment is I would love to see a bacon, egg, and cheese made out of that and put in that side that Pandasal. I don't know what those things was. They put Vienna sausages in them. My goodness. Just taking a sip, guys. So anybody got anything going on your mind? You can ask me anything. I know nothing, but you can ask anything. So I hope it's just the YouTube with the glitch. Mariska says I'm 35 and 26 as a kid. Yeah. Yeah, well, this 26-year-old kid. Yeah, it was all from my brother-in-law. 1.3 million. Mariska says, Long Island, Brooklyn, discovered by the Netherlands. Yeah, no, well, listen, New York City used to be New Amsterdam. It was a Dutch colony. Actually, let me see here. I have Dutch, I'm part Dutch. I'm part Dutch, Germanic, Europe. 37%. England, Wales, and Northwestern Europe, I'm 23%. I'm 21% Irish, Scottish. 11% French. That I didn't expect. And 8% Italy. Hey, paisan, eh? Don't forget Bangladesh. You are part Bangladesh for sure. No, no, no. I'm just an honorary Bangladesh. No, you have it in your blood, my friend. Believe me, I know these things. Does anyone have a question for me? Mr. Bangladesh. No, I think I like this early hour. I am Dutch, Mariska says. You know, I've been to Amsterdam. I was in Amsterdam just a few years ago for the first time. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was a beautiful, beautiful city. Going into that, what's that, Schiphol Airport or something. I did all the touristy things there that people do in Amsterdam. I think I was there 3 or 4 years ago, Amsterdam, and I did something I hadn't done for like 30 years. I rode a bicycle. And I rode it for like almost a whole day. That was the one thing that really stuck out to me there, was how everybody rides bicycles. I mean, you see people riding bicycles in suits. You know, they have a lot more electric cars than the U.S. They ride bicycles. And by the way, Dutch people are giants. I mean, they are giants. I mean, you don't see too many Dutch people in Amsterdam that aren't minimum 6 feet, and I include the women in that. I mean, I'm not the tallest man in the world, but there, holy God, that I feel like a midget. Let's see, so JG, don't wear a kilt. Shooting star will look under it. Dutch, be careful, Amsterdam lives there for 35 years and will be here with my husband from New Jersey. Yeah, no, Amsterdam's wonderful. I learned so much stuff when I was there too. You know, I heard, because like the buildings there, the houses, they're really narrow, but they're tall. And I found out that the reason that they were built that way was because of taxes. The wider the property, the more property taxes that everyone there would have to pay. So what they ended up doing was making the houses really narrow but high up. And it's interesting. I mean, between the bicycle riding and the steps going up into those houses, and no wonder everybody there is fit. I mean, you don't have an opportunity to be overweight. You're always doing physical activities, Stairmaster and bicycling. JG, did you go on any of the 142 miles of canals? I did, Mitch. They have a boat tour there. What the heck was the name of it? It was like the Love Tours or something like that. I did a couple of them. And what was Scott saying? So when you went to the hash bars, and went to the red light districts. Scott! Mariska says, no, you guys are dwarfs. annoying tourist on that bicycle. Of course I went to those places, Scott. They have some very good weed in Amsterdam, and it's legal. You know, like they say, when in Rome, do as the Romans. But the funny thing about that is that I didn't even see, like, it wasn't most of the Dutch people that I saw didn't even, go into the hash bars or smoke. It was mostly just the tourists. Tropical, let's see. What did I miss? Missing stuff. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I think the Blessing Cat works. I signed 2 leases today. Oh, good job, Jen. Congrats, man. Get them in there. Get them paying. Mr. Bangladesh, am I allowed to barter at 7-Eleven stores? Tropical Tim, it could never hurt to try. You can try. If they say no, they say no, but maybe you get lucky. You can turn in your horsey. JGBK, when you said something you hadn't done in years, I said, uh-oh, here comes the story of the red light district. The Love Boat. Yeah, no, I loved Amsterdam. I would definitely go back there again. I wouldn't just go to Amsterdam. I would go to the other parts. I went to Amsterdam for a bachelor party. A bachelor party for my nephew. And these guys, the kids, I mean, they were, 28, 29. And I was, 40 something. And my God, I went with like the most boring group of young people. They were, they're going to bed. They're not really trying the hash. They're not drinking. They're not doing anything. They're going to bed at 11. I'm like, all right, see you guys. And heading out to the bar. Like, I'm in Amsterdam. I may not ever be back. You think I'm going to bed at 11 o'clock? Good luck with that one. No way. JGBK, were you the Dutch still using the guilder for the currencies? No, when I was there, they were euro. Completely euro. And it's also, by the way, it's not a cheap place to live. It's expensive from what I saw. But beautiful. See, they have the water situation corrected. Why America doesn't go over to the Dutch and ask them how to build these levees and all of that stuff correctly, instead of us. I saw, I don't know if it was on 60 Minutes, but they even have it where they do it in the ocean, so like they can prevent like a lot of the damage caused by the hurricanes. They're building the infrastructure. They say they're doing that to prevent, and all America does is rebuild. If you can prevent it, it's much better than having to rebuild it. MK says, JG, background only here. Let's eat our breakfast. I hope it's a yummy breakfast. Euro since 2002. Yep. Graham! Hello, mate. We have an Aussie in the house. How you doing, Graham? Welcome to the program. I did 9/11 talk earlier, and now we're just riffing, shooting from the cuff. And they invented Wi-Fi. Boom. Hey, listen, I'm part Dutch. Hi, Lagaya. I said hi to you. Hi, Maureen. Welcome to the program. Oh, you're okay, Mariska. A Dutchie. Dutchies welcome. And I think you said you're living in Jersey, so. And Tropical Tim loves Jersey. Are you from New Jersey? Yeah, so I would definitely go back there. But right now, the next trip is Philippines, Manila, Cebu, Davao. That's where I'm gonna go. I'd like to. I think you guys would know better than me. I'm such an American that my geography is awful, terrible, and I even have a globe on the other side of the room. But I think Cebu is like kind of central, where like if I wanted to go to Dumaguete for a couple of days, or Bohol for a couple of days, those are all exploratory areas I want to check out. I'm more American than Dutch in everything, and I don't belong there. It's too down to earth. Nah, listen. I'm all those things. I'm the Dutch. I'm the German. I'm the Irish. I'm the English. I'm American. That's what I am. It says JGBK. You might need to delete the first version of the vlog and re-upload it. I had to do this a couple times. Yeah, Mitch, I tried that a few times. What I actually did was I recorded it to my phone. I didn't record it, onto YouTube. And it still won't go. It's still at 0. I tried stopping it, canceling it. I took the advice of a couple of people who thought they had the answer. They didn't. Danny Stout. Hey, Danny. Did you bring the donuts, Danny? Where are the donuts? Danny Donut's really trying to get away from that donut name. But he keeps following him. Good evening, Danny. Welcome to the program, Danny. Mr. Bangladesh. Let's see, what does Tim say? Mr. Bangladesh, please describe to the audience your definition of a putz. What is the definition of a putz? I do not know the definition of a putz, but I know one when I see one or talk to one. It's like the Supreme Court said, I can't give you the definition of porn, but I know it when I see it. Jim Ross says you're going to have the time of your life when you get to the Philippines. There's a lot to do. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And Tim says a lot to drink. Mariska, have you ever had a Dutch oven? A Dutch oven? I could never understand the two. I know two phrases that includes Dutch. One is, like if I take out a girl and we go Dutch, and the Dutch means that you each pay for each other, and then the other one, of course, is a Dutch oven. And for those of you not familiar with a Dutch oven, you may want to try this on your significant other tonight. That's when let's say you're both in bed, you have the blankets pulled over your heads, and you let loose and fart. That's a Dutch oven. Why that's the name, I have no idea. Well, Double Dutch is the hop skipping or something. Some guy from the Netherlands, hey Kevin, asked me what a Dutch oven was. I'm pretty sure that I might have had a little bit too much to drink and asked the Dutchy girl those two questions. Why did they call it a Dutch oven, and why did they call it going Dutch? I would tell you what she said, but I was probably too drunk and high to remember. Welcome, Kevin. Kevin Ash says I had to explain the heavy pot with lid. Kevin P. Hello, Kevin. Welcome. How's your life after the terrible tragedy of the World Center? How's it affect your life as a native New Yorker? MK, yeah, I touched on that before. It made me one of the driving factors to making me want to retire early. and moved to the Philippines. Made me understand that, you know, this life is precious, it's limited time. Sometimes you even have people trying to kill you for no reason, so you have to enjoy life while you have it. That's what I took away about it. It's starting to move fast here. Let's see. True love is a Dutch oven, Mitch says. I have no idea who invented that. Mark King says, hey JG, you need to get that speeding light to go on and off with the music. Yeah, that would be good. You're from a different world, JG. I sure am, Danny. Someone say drink. Tropical Tim, as soon as I finish up.
I'll be having a Corona.
Nobody in the Netherlands, yeah. Let's see what I miss. Yeah, I tried the Dutch oven. I got kicked off the bed. Yeah, that'll happen. A Dutch oven is love, like Mitch said. if your significant other can put up with an occasional Dutch oven, then that's the right partner for you. And think it's funny. If you can do that to a significant other and they think it's funny. And it's a beer brand. Yes, Corona. I want to take JG up to the mountains in Mindanao to meet Manibal. The chief did blessing for my marriage. It is only 2-day walk from the road. Yeah, good luck with that, Scott. Can we get somebody to carry me up there? Let's go Spanish with the Corona. Let me tell you, it's a fine La Cerveza Fina. Yeah, Tim's got a slogan. La Cerveza Más Fina, the finest beer. Corona. Of course, I was told that it was like $3 a bottle in the Philippines, so I probably will switch to a San Miguel Pilsner. Let's see, insignificant other, same theory. Yeah, that's funny, Mariska. I like the video, Naughty Beer, because Stout is also a beer brand. Yes, it is, Stout. B-Joy hates the Dutch oven, but only when I do it. When she does it, she says stop complaining. Yeah, Dutch ovens are fun. They're fun. It's for true. It's true love to put up with that. But I will say, it's much funnier when the man does it to the woman. It sounds funny when the woman does it to the man. And plus, a lot of you old folks have to be careful because, you know, you might shart yourself. You familiar with the term shart? That's when you think you fart, but you don't. The V is a B pronounced in Spanish. You just ruined the beer in Spanish. That's okay. I ruin a lot of things. May that be the worst thing that I ruined today. Then I'd be ahead of the game. What's a school bus going by at 8:20 p.m.? That is interesting. Yeah, that light keeps going off. Ba-bam, ba-bam. I'm telling you, I wish I could get the money from that. Yeah, so guys, I appreciate everyone for showing up. Got a couple more minutes in me. Jeb Jam, you're going on late, 8:30, right, Jeb? Actually, once I got past the 9/11 stuff, this was a really fun stream, guys. It's a different day, a different time for me. I had no idea if anyone would show up at all. I appreciate you guys' support on that. Next week, back to normal. I do my Monday, 8:30 to 10, or Tuesday, 8:30 to 10 if you're in the Philippines. You know what I do like about this earlier time though is that when I get done it'll be 8:30. I can go have a beer, unwind, relax. It was a very stressful day having to drive into Manhattan and 9/11 and all of that garbage. And now because I really didn't do much work today, I am backed up tomorrow. I'm going to be busy from the crack of dawn until the end of the day tomorrow. But that's how you make a living. Let's see what disgusting things. K-Show says, Scott Barris, I watched the whole live stream. You have that your working place. Wow, the building is far from each other. You didn't afraid for Aswang. I love Aswang. Nice stomping through the streets, gee. Yeah, I watched Chitara's video today also, and she was going through Portofino, Italy. And I don't know what she's wearing, sandals, but it sounds like a clip-clopping horse going down nice little cobblestone Italian roads. If you didn't check out her video already, check it out. Just listen for the click-clack. It kind of sounded like Tim's video where he had the horse going down the street. Ever noticed that when a guy farts, it smells bad? When a woman does it, they call it poof. Or Scott, they think it's cute when they do it. We just call those steamy weight ones. That's their name. Scott, please drop the S from your last name. Look like Scott here. Yeah, Scott, just change that name over, would you? And in 10 minutes, JJ will be running around the neighborhood naked wearing a black trench coat. Well, no, Scott, that's I call that Friday nights. Not Wednesday. I call that Friday. That's my Friday activity. It's sandal at JG. It's hard soul for hurting me. Yeah, well, when you do that kind of video, well, you should just have a nice pair of walking sneakers or shoes or whatever girls wear. Ken Unger, later on, everybody. Have a good one. Mr. Unger, thank you. I appreciate you for stopping by. The way you just laugh like a joke. But cute. Danny says, Chitaris, I kept waiting for you to fall in the water. And he was disappointed about it. I saw it in someone else's stream. Someone had mentioned that how amazing it is that so many Filipino people can't swim and they live on islands. I do find that amazing. You would think like the children will be born with water wings, like they do here in the States. I mean, they put infants in the water here, in a pool, not in the ocean, no, a pool. Yeah, I can't handle the name. It is once the feds get me. I can't be full of Danny Stout because I make sure I walk far from sea. What beer do you get if you say in the U.S. going to a friend's house to drink a six-pack? She needs the shoes that EMS had, the big ones. Well, Kevin, if I'm bringing a six-pack to a friend's house, it's going to be high-quality beer. And besides, I don't think it could be possible. If I'm going to a friend's house with beer, I don't see how humanly possible 6 beers would be enough for 2 of us, and if there was more, even forget it. Never happen. It would have to be a minimum of 12-pack if it's 2 of us. Would absolutely have to be. Wolfen! Howdy, Wolfen, you missed the stream. This was the stream you were supposed to?
Do a report on Wolfen. What are you doing? And can you talk up in your videos? I cannot hear you, my friend.
Scott says, Kevin, a six-pack? That is a joke, right? Two grown men sharing a six-pack? What?
It is not enough.
If I bring a six-pack, then what are you drinking? That's great.
Doreen, hello.
12, I was thinking 30 to start. Well, if there's more than two, Scott, then yeah, it has to be 30 to start. Well, it would have to be 36. You'd have to grab 3 12ers.
3 12-packs.
Can you imagine what the April 2020 meetup is going to look like? And man, a good business for a Filipino would be to supply the alcohol for that event. They'll probably in 3 days probably make 6 months worth of income just selling alcohol. Let's see, what do we got here? Martin, where are you in the U.S.? I'm gonna review you in about 10 minutes, bro.
Don't hold back, my friend. Tell me how bad I suck tonight.
It's beer 30 right now.
Whoa.
So right now, Wolfen, you don't have no blood in your alcohol, basically. Kevin, if I come to a friend's house, I usually bring a case of Miller High Life with me and near beer for the host. Near beer. Nice.
It's okay. Do not concern yourself with this, my friends. Do not be alarmed.
Just a thought. In a few minutes, just in a few short minutes, I'll grab my work computer because I have a few things to do in there, and grab a nice ice cold Corona Extra. Life is good, even on September 11th. I think that's the takeaway from the stream. Know what you like in life and drink it. JGBK, 20-30 hours. Thanks for sharing your personal reflections. God bless everyone. Bye, bye, bye. Thanks for landing. I was trying to make some kind of space reference. Thanks for stopping by, Mitch. I appreciate it. Jeez, Taurus says thumbs up, people. Hey, yeah, guys, I got 19. Anybody miss it so I can hit 20? Now someone will give me a down.
Thumbs up for the horse, please. Let me tell you. We talk Mr. Bangladesh for thumbs up.
Okay, guys. It's 8:30. I believe my friends Jeb Jam Raw should have started their program. Let me make sure they are on. Yep, what? Guys, I'm just waiting to see, to get Jim Jams.
Notification.
Once I see it, those that wish to join him and her, husband-wife duo. Let me see, I heard something go off. Yep. Okay, guys. Guys, I want to thank everyone for stopping in.